Right, so this week I'm going to make a power switch for the computer because I forgot to put one in the case when I made the case. So these are the old switches, and I don't really want to use them anymore, and I don't want to integrate a switch into the case, because the plan is to put the case up on the wall at some point, possibly, and it might be out of the way. So I want to make a remote switch for the computer that I can just have on the desk next to my keyboard, and I can just hit it and turn the computer on in the morning when I get around to it. So we're going to use bits of old project and things from lying around the house that I find, and we're going to make a switch. Okay, so this is my pile of random bits. I've got some wire from an old thing that I don't need anymore. This is a switch from the mechanical keyboard repair video I did. This switch still works, it just double taps whenever you're typing. So that doesn't matter when you turn the computer on, so you just need to use it as normal, really. Hopefully it'll work. I've got some pieces of wood left over from making the case, so it's going to match, and I've got some connectors as well, so that we can plug it in and out. Okay, so first we are going to cut this, because I think this is a suitable size for the base, a little rectangle, but I want the button to be a bit taller, so I'm going to cut it in half, and then we'll have the two together. So we're just going to do it by eye, as usual. I've got a really fine tooth blade on here at the minute, so we're going to have a bit of sanding to do when we're finished. I quite like this slope, so I think we're going to end up with a bit of a flat-topped pyramid thing. But first we need to stick these together in a way that we can get them apart again. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some masking tape. This stuff, I like this stuff. So what we're aiming to do is to cover all of this, and then what we'll do is we'll cover the bottom side of this one as well, and then we are going to super glue them together, and that way we should hopefully be able to get them apart again afterwards, but have all the faces, all the sides that we're going to cut into this match. At least that's the plan. And I've not actually done this technique before, but I have seen several people on the interweb do it, so it's a bit of a is it true or not moment for me. Two bits like that. How much super glue do you reckon we use? Come on, as much as I can squeeze out. 5 little drips. Oh, and a spare one. Use the activator because I'm impatient. Right, okay. And hopefully, oh, stop sliding around. That'll go off. And then we'll just give that little drip of spray there. Now we need to set the bandsaw up. You could sand this, and we will be doing some sanding later because every good project has sanding in it. But this is going to remove most of the material to minimize the sanding because it's boring. Okay, so see how this goes. Long blade for this job. Piss. I didn't account for this. Oh, it's going to be so cool. Let's do the third one anyway. Okay, so you may or may not have heard my ramblings, but I was going to put another slope equal here, but I didn't remember the step. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have this flat backed, and that way I can sit it against the edge of my desk if I want to, and still have this nice kind of trapezoidal shape to it for the rest of it. So we just need to reset the table. There we go. Okay, so we've got the belt sander with its dust collection thing, which I'm going to turn on. It's just a box that the belt sander's screwed into, and that way I can do this. And then I should be able to stand here and do the sanding bits where you can still see. So like this, and this one. Right, got our block of wood, and we've got the button on top, masking tape in the middle, and the thing that's going to hold the switch and where the cable's going to plug into. We're going to make this a finer finish, and we're going to use the orbital sander for that. And now we have a very smooth piece of wood that we're going to drill holes into. This is our switch and housing. We're obviously going to have a bit of a gap in here for the switch. So we're going to have a screw in the switch like this. This seems to fit quite well through the little light hole. And it comes out the other side. And we're going to use a dowel and screw into the dowel. And that way we can stick the dowel into the switch and get to it from the bottom, and that make it all removable, hopefully. Is that enough space for the switch? Oh, there's plenty. Cool. So we're going to do this. We're not going to drill into my fingers, he says. Cool, hopefully that's straight. And then, that should mean we can separate, so I've got to hold that. I'm going to separate these reasonably easily, considering how much force I've been putting through it. Okay, so we need to make this hole big enough for this switch to sit in. And so I've clamped it down here. I don't want to go all the way through, but I don't really have much where, I don't have like things to go on the drill bits to stop it going all the way through. So we're going to do it carefully. So the switch diagonally is at least 20, and I've only got drill bits up to size 14, which is enough for the width, but it's not enough to get the corners in, and I don't feel like sanding the corners of the switch. So the only drill bit I have that's big enough that's either a spade bit or this thing, which is a Munson bit, I want to call it. But it needs a center point to drill. We don't have one of those because the first hole we drilled got rid of it. So we're going to put a block of wood over this like this, and that's going to act as a guide around this edge so we can drill the rest of the hole out. And we just need to clamp that down. So the switch diagonally is at least 20, and I've only got drill bits up to size 14, which is enough for the width, but it's not enough to get the corners in, and I don't feel like sanding the corners of the switch. So the only drill bit I have that's big enough that's either a spade bit or this thing, which is a Munson bit, I want to call it. But it needs a center point to drill. We don't have one of those because the first hole we drilled got rid of it. So we're going to put a block of wood over this like this, and that's going to act as a guide around this edge so we can drill the rest of the hole out. And we just need to clamp that down. There we go. That fits in there. On top of that, which is about there. And then the switch isn't big enough for that, so we just need to shave 2 little sides off this. So we're just going, oh, hold on. Oh, it doesn't matter. 1, 2. And that way, that should fit in there. Spot on. We've got a keycap with our dowel on the top. We've got our switch with a screw in it, and we're going to join the 2 together. Keycap, wooden one, and switch. However, into the house for the electronicsy soldering bit. So we've got this, and this goes this way around. And if the camera focuses properly, you can just about see the terminals of the switch inside. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put some wires on this now. Okay, so we're going to put hot glue on both sides, and we're going to squidge it all in and hope it fits and still works afterwards. Okay, so this is stuck in here now. I've taken the switch off, the keycap off, just so I can fill around the outside with glue, just to make it extra stable. Okay, the last bit to stick in is this little connector. And then this part of it will be done. Okay, so before I fully secure it on, I've noticed a small problem when this is on here, and that's that it's always sitting at an angle. And I think it's because the spring in here isn't quite strong enough to push all this weight up. So we're going to drill some extra holes, and we're just going to have a couple of extra springs either side. Yeah. Oh, come back. Thank you. Put a couple of extra springs each side just by drilling holes in this base, and they'll push up equally on either side. I've already taped the drill bit, so I know how deep the holes have got to be, which is because I want the spring slightly compressed. It's slightly shorter than the spring. And so we're just going to pop these in as close as we dare to the inside edge so we don't see them. Like this. And that way that's going to sit there, and then whenever the switch is on, they're not terribly strong, but they're strong enough just to push back up. And so we'll do one on the other side. Like this. And then we have 2 springs. And then this can go back in here. Okay, so you can see the springs in there, but this is a much more positive switch now. So I'm just going to wire the 2 connectors onto each end of the wire, and then put a little bit of heat shrink over the connectors, and that's that bit done. Now we've got this handle done, it should simply plug into here, like that. So, got a nice long lead. Now what we've got to do is go and plug it into the computer and wax this. We're going to feed this cable around to the computer, and I think we're going to have the switch just here. Ideally it could go in the middle, but I don't think it's going to fit there. So we're going to feed it around the side. So the wire then goes from here all the way along here and into where the computer used to be in here, and then there's a hole at the back that I can't even get the camera in to see. It's going to come out there, and then it's going to go into the new case, and then I'll show you where to plug it in on the new case. I've got the cable all this way, and then it goes up here, and then on this motherboard it connects to these two pins here, which are numbered 6 and 8 for some reason, and that goes there. And then so if you like this sort of random thing and you want to see me make more random things every week, then please remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to help the channel grow a bit, please remember to hit the like button. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer all of them. And I'll see you all next week.